really great to have you today with us. And could you please tell us a bit about yourself?
Okay, sure. Well, as you know, my name's Ronald. And when I was 14 years old, and you remember, and I'm sure you remember how immature your 14-year-old boys are, I had hair down to here, and I am a real sports fan. I really like baseball, and I was at a professional baseball game, a Chicago Cubs game, and I was hit on the head with a line drive foul ball going over 100 miles an hour or 160 kilometers per hour. And this half of my skull was shattered. It was a pressed skull fracture. Doctors did not think that I would survive. The injury was so severe. And they thought that if I did, I would probably be in a long-term care facility. But I was one of 1 or 2% of people who have brain injuries as severe as mine. And I had 3 brain surgeries. I had to have 3 brain surgeries to keep me alive because that's just what was required.
Because this brain injury happened around 1970s, right?
No, yeah, it happened in July of 1971.
Oh, so like...
That's 53 years ago.
What do you think was something that helped you survive?
I guess there were 3 things that I can think of. One was I was very lucky and had some really amazing brain surgeons. And the second thing was I had a lot of support from my family. My siblings didn't understand. Are you the eldest in your family?
Yes.
Okay, because I was the eldest, and my younger siblings just didn't understand. And I think there was someone up there, someone higher above, that was also really helping me because, as I said, doctors really didn't think that I would survive. But you said, who helped me? Yeah. Really mainly the doctors, because it was so severe and so complex. They just didn't know.
So like, did the baseball hit your left hemisphere, like left?
Yep. What happened was my siblings saw the ball coming and they moved back, and I was scoring and I just moved forward to right, and the ball hit me right here where the temporal lobe, the occipital lobe, and the parietal lobe all meet. And they said that, I've been described as sort of a unicorn, in that I'm the only person that doctors know of who's had this happen at age 14 and has lived. And so you asked me how I was able to survive. I think part of it was also I was a very stubborn person, and I really, life was important to me, and I knew that I was going to fight as hard as I could to survive.
Yeah.
But a lot of luck.
I wonder so how did this brain injury change your life?
Okay, well, first of all, can you see my scar?
Yes.
You see it here?
Yeah.
It goes all the way around back here, and so everything there was destroyed. Actually, do you know what edema is?
Not really.
Okay, edema is swelling. And with my depressed skull fracture, there was a lot of swelling in the brain. And so they had to remove more skulls so that the brain could swell, because otherwise there's no place for the brain to move except for right into the skull. And then I had what's called a cranioplasty, which was done. This was the third operation because there was a big hole. They said that 15% of my brain was destroyed, and it affected 25% of my body, and so it was so severe they needed to remove more. And so like this, everything here on this side of my skull is harder than your skull. So that's what happened. It was very, very difficult for me. I found I had, well, first I didn't understand what was happening to me. And I was in a coma for a long time. But I didn't understand. And as I mentioned to you before, I had very serious anger management problems. I was very angry about this. And I used to be the most popular person and the most athletic teenage boy at my age. I played piano, played guitar, and was very, very athletic. And I went from being that one day to the next day being in a coma. And as a result of it, it has had a bunch of things that affect me. One of the major ones is that I'm totally blind in the right half of each eye. And the best way to explain it is that if I look at you and I stare at the tip of your nose, and I only mention that because I've got a large nose, but I've got a condition called right homonymous hemianopsia, and what that means, there's nothing wrong with my eyeballs, that where the ball hit me affected the visual center in the back of the brain. So if again I'm looking at the tip of your nose, your body is just, I don't want to spill it. Your body is just cut right in half. And I see one eye, one nostril, one shoulder, one hand. And I'm presuming you've got 180-degree peripheral vision, right? You see equally out of both eyes. Okay, I don't. I see only 90 degrees out of this eye and 90 degrees out of this eye. So if again I'm staring at the tip of your nose, I can't see this finger until it's there or there.
Oh.
So it really, so I'm blind basically, and I walk into all sorts of things. But when you read English, you read from left to right. And because I'm blind on the right half of each eye, when I'm reading, I can't read line by line, or word by word. I'm basically reading letter by letter, so it's very slow. It also affected me in that I would see double.
Oh, so like maybe two things.
I would see two of you. And, when I was reading, it was the same thing that I'd see one, Yolanda, I'd see you there, but then I'd see you also up there.
Oh.
And in fact, you can see on my glasses on the right-hand side, you see there's a prism there?
Yeah.
And what that's for is to widen how much I'm able to see.
Oh, I see. This
But
glass is helping you to make the vision more clear.
yeah, but to see the whole person, I have to turn a little bit like this, so that I can see the whole person. because like now I can see the whole. I can see the two eyes, the two nostrils, and everything, and I can see to your shoulder. But if I'm looking at you here, I can't. And if I'm looking just like this, I can't see you at all.
Oh.
So that's what I mean. The major thing was the blindness. I also, one of the things that's common when you have very serious brain injuries, like mine, is you have epilepsy. I did have seizures. They're under control, and that's, thank you. I'm glad of that, but for a long time they were not. Because I kind of make draw an analogy with a tsunami in the ocean. You know, like my life was just going perfectly. Then once I was hit with a baseball, it was kind of like a tsunami. And my behavior was also affected. But those were the main things. And I understand. I mean, I was able to. I'm able to communicate. And, well, actually, communication is a difficulty that I have, but I'm very stubborn. And I did finish high school, and then I went to college. And then I went to university, and like, you know, when you go up there, it's difficult. Yeah. And I got 2 university degrees.
That's really impressive.
Well, I'm very lucky, and you know, people told me, John, you don't need to, but I really wanted to.